What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Cougar Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Dorian Alert, and I'm not alone this week. This week, I am once again joined by my very good friend and broadcasting partner, Jish. He's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey. Glad to be back, Dorian. Thank you for having me on again. It was a very crazy week last week, but happy to be back.
Absolutely. Before we get into this episode, you guys can find us on Anchor, and using Anchor, we can be found on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as the Kean Athletics YouTube. Jish, we have a very, very important and very exciting episode. Of course, we're going to talk about everything happening at the university in terms of sports, but we are also beginning to start the month of April, which is Autism Awareness Month. So this episode, we will be talking to Coach Sheiner, Sgaramella, and discussing Connor's game that will be coming up on Saturday, April 2nd, as well as talking to Coach Danielle Todman of the cross-country team and speaking about the race on kindness that will be occurring that same day. But, of course, we're always going to kick it off with After the Whistle.
All right. After the whistle time, baby. In lacrosse news, the men's lacrosse team is coming off of 2 straight losses. Unfortunately, on Saturday, they lost to the number 18 Stevenson University by a score of 19-4, their worst loss of the season by far. There wasn't all negatives to draw away from that game, though, as attacker Connor Batjer had a hat trick. So 3 of those 4 goals belonged to Batjer. Impressive stuff from him. And yesterday, they lost in heartbreaking fashion to the University of Scranton on March 30th. By a score of 13-12. It was a very hard-fought battle. 4 goals from Brady Moore, 3 from Anthony Porter, including this one right before the first half concluded. We're going to show that right now.
Difference maker here. He's won 11 of 15 so far. A scrum for it is won by Mafa again, and he keeps it going into the attacking area. Ground ball now, won by Kean. Over to Moore. Moore looking to set up some offense now. 24 seconds. No need to rush just yet. Moore slips trying to dodge. Still keeps the ball in his possession. Dumps it over to his teammate. Now to Pellegrino. Good weaving here. Here's Porter. Porter looking for some space. He puts a shot off, and that's good! Off the turf and in, Anthony Porter! Doing it all himself, now bringing that lead down to 1 for Scranton with 5 seconds to go here in this second quarter. That is clutch. Anthony Porter had a stick to his face and still was able to finish. He has fought through contact all day, and now it pays off with a goal. Look at this. Takes the stick to his face, delivers from range, finds that bottom corner with ease.
But other than that, Kean was down 9-13 with about 5 minutes to play, and they got 3 straight. The win was at their backs. The momentum was there, and they just fell short. But a very fun game to watch. Some freshmen got some playing time as well. We had Nick Thorne score a goal, Kenny Yeager making his first collegiate start. So some impressive stuff from the men, even in 2 losses. As for the women in their last 2 matchups, they went 1-1. Winning on March 26th this past Saturday against Farmingdale State College, a 16-3 blowout of them on our home field. In that game, Sarah Wagner netted the first 2 goals of the game, and really Kean just dominated the entirety of the game. She ended up with 3 goals and 4 assists. A lot of points for Wagner coming from this game. But they followed that up with a loss in Scranton, also to the University of Scranton by a score of 12-5, dropping that one and falling to a 4-4 on the year. Both men's and women's lacrosse both sitting at 4-4. Could be better, could be worse, but some room to improve going forward.
Absolutely, Jish. And, we're going to move into men's volleyball. Men's volleyball wrapped up their season this past weekend on March 25th. They played against Eastern Mennonite University. That was a sweep. They won that 3-0. Then they went on to lose in their tri-match on Saturday, March 26th. They went 1-1 in their tri-match. They got swept by Southern Virginia University, but they were able to come back and pick up the W against Drew University in a sweep. A lot of sweeps going on. Break out the brooms, Jish. But, Saturday was a very interesting day, to say the least. That was a day we had all teams at home. It was crazy. We were all running around trying to figure out where we were going to be. So another couple of sports that I had the privilege of being able to watch were the baseball and softball games. Baseball won both games of their doubleheader by the same score, 4-3 against Eastern University. The second game ended up going 12 innings, and we actually ended up having a player of the week come out of that one.
Yes, we did. Not only an NJAC player of the week, but a member of the D3 All-American team, the D3Baseball.com All-American team. Third baseman like Mike Lipchinski had himself another phenomenal week. He's had such a hot start to this season, and he's really cementing his resume right now. He could be up for some awards at the end of the season.
And another sport that had a doubleheader was softball. They were actually able to split that one. This one was a little bit odd to me. They lost the first game of the doubleheader 8-0 in 5 innings. Muhlenberg College was able to force the mercy rule, but they came back in the second game of that doubleheader and absolutely turned the tide. And this time, Kean was able to force the mercy rule 10-1 in 5 innings as well.
Softball is a game of momentum, right? And you get momentum swinging in your direction. It's a very fast-paced, more fast-paced than baseball. Any given game could have a different result, and we saw both extremes this past Saturday.
I did fail to mention Duncan Belke for men's volleyball was named both CVC and NJAC Player of the Week. Congratulations to him. Duncan had 74 points in the week leading up to this past week, 63 total kills, 17 digs, and 9 blocks over 5 total matches. Whew, that's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful, to say the least.
Congratulations to all of the athletes on their awards and their wins this week, and hopefully we have the opportunity to see a couple more. A couple of other things. Esports was able to wrap up their season this past week. They are headed into the playoffs, and I'm sure we'll get the opportunity to talk a little bit about that. But they also have a brand new esports arena. This place looks absolutely beautiful, Jish.
I've been seeing the commercials. I haven't had a chance to pop over myself, but oh man, it does look gorgeous.
Jish, we did a lot of talking, so now it's time for us to, of course, move into our next segment, Cougar Quick Hits. This will be, of course, with Jay Sgaramella and Coach Sheiner, and we'll be discussing Connor's game. Joining us on the podcast now, we have 2 very special guests. One of them, you've already heard his voice before. That is Coach Shelley Sheiner of the men's lacrosse team. How are you, Coach?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And another voice that we are bringing onto the podcast, you should know him if you walk around Kean University. We are joined by Jay Sgaramella. How are you, Jay?
I'm doing great today. Thank you for having me, guys.
Absolutely. So the purpose of this segment that we're going to be talking about today is we want to bring light into what Connor's game is for autism awareness. So, Coach, we're going to start with you. Give us a little bit of your background and why this is such an important topic for you to bring awareness to.
Okay. Just a little background on just me. I am a special education teacher. I've been a special education teacher for, just over 25 years. And I've had experience working, and I still work with in some of my classes with children with autism. I teach in Bergenfield Middle School, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and I teach some LLD classes where we do have some children that are classified as children with autism on the spectrum. I got my start as a paraprofessional in Bergen County's Washington School South, which is in Paramus, New Jersey, working in their autism program many, many years ago, prior to people understanding what autism is, and prior to there ever being an Autism Awareness Month or an Autism Awareness Day. And that was back in '97 when I started that job. And it was the toughest job I ever had, but it was also the most rewarding job I think I've ever had, because it was definitely eye-opening, and I loved it, and I loved being around those children. They are special. They are very special in many ways.
Absolutely. And you alluded to it a little bit, Coach. You said that autism is called autism spectrum disorder, which means there's a wide range because all children with autism are different. So yes. I want to move over to Jay now. Your son Connor does have autism, and like we said, everyone's experience is different. What has yours kind of been?
Like you said it, every kid with autism is totally different. Not one is the same. So every parent's experience is different. That's the first thing that you'll learn right away. My experience at 18 months, when you start bringing your child to the doctor for their milestone checkups, they check off the box. Is he doing this? Is he pointing? Is he talking? Is he babbling? Are they crawling, walking, etc.? So he was starting to check off a lot of the boxes, and some boxes weren't getting checked off. So they said, all right, keep an eye on it. And then at some point, if you want, we can do early intervention, which means like this group of OT, different specialists will come out, observe your child. And they did for the day, and it was like an hour long. And then they wrote their reports and came back and said, we see some red flags for autism. So obviously that was a very tough thing to hear. But as parents, you have to do whatever you have to do for your kids, anything and everything. So we started out with early intervention services, and then the child can't be diagnosed until at least 2 years old. So we just followed up with what we need to do: doctors, specialists, therapists, just continue to get him in early, as it stated, early intervention, so that if it's not autism, it's corrected. And if it is, you're already ahead of the game. So by 2 years old, we brought him to another doctor who observed, and then they diagnosed, officially diagnosed that he had autism. So from there, my wife really loaded up on every specialist that we could. She's basically a doctor of autism now, because she has learned so much, spends hours researching and calling doctors, calling parents. You become a part of this community that you never even thought of, because every parent has a similar story. They may not be the same, but then there's all these programs that you can go to, and the parents are like, hey, what's your kid do? Where do you go? Who do you see for this? So we've been loading up with all these amazing groups that do free programs for kids with autism and their families. Saturdays in Motion and many others. There's POAC, there's Parents of Children with Autism. So we just got involved with everything that we could, just to help our son and give him every ounce of work that we can, just to help him along as best as we can. So it's been a wild ride, but I mean, honestly, he's an amazing kid. So I really can't say that I would change a single thing about him or my experience. It's tough, but it is what it is. It's life, and it'll make me stronger, make him stronger, and my wife stronger. So we're fully into this thing, and my son's thriving right now from this.
That's a great answer, Jay. Thank you so much. And it seems like he is such an inspiration to everybody at Kean University. And this next question is for you, Coach. How did the idea come about to designate this game that's coming up tomorrow, April 2nd, as Connor's game?
Well, today, so autism awareness, April is Autism Awareness Month, and the first Friday in April is always National Autism Awareness Day. So I wanted to try and, butt it up. We normally play on Saturdays. We wouldn't have a Friday game for National Autism Awareness Day, but I think that first Saturday is what, we're looking to kind of designate it as Connor's game. Connor, so, it was an idea, that I had. It really, I don't even think I've even told Jay this. I remember Jay bringing in the fall of 2018 to one of the Connor to one of the football games, and I knew, and I think Jay and I didn't really, we didn't discuss it. And I don't think Jay even knew my background at the time of working with children with autism. He knew I was a teacher, and he knew I was a pain in the butt at Kean. But I knew obviously right away, it was Jay and Lauren. It was one of the football games, can't remember, back in the fall of 2018. It was a home game where Connor was there. And I think your father-in-law was there too, Jay. And I knew that, Connor had autism right away from my experience. And, I almost, it was a little tough. Like I wanted to approach the topic, with Jay and Lauren, about Connor in the most respectful way, not trying to be intrusive in their own personal lives. But it was one of those things where, I wanted to try and, marry my program to autism awareness, to the cause, and to kind of bringing, light to what autism is. And a lot of people out there still don't understand autism, don't understand the children, don't understand that, the families and what they, depending on where you are on the spectrum, what they have to, go through. It's a lot of work. It is a full-time job at times, all the time. And I have a lot of guys in my program that, one in particular, he's a junior, Anthony Porter. He's one of our better players. He is here to become a special education teacher. He has worked in the summers with children with Down syndrome. And one of the reasons he's here is because he wants to be a special education teacher. He wants to, help that population. And I think it's just kind of, it's a way that I can bring my program, to obviously shed light on Autism Awareness Month, Autism Awareness Day, and also help, honestly, one of the best guys and one of the best families I know at Kean. I'm a Kean guy. Been here forever as a student and coach and everything. And like I said, Jay, I coached against Jay in high school. And he's a great guy. I know I give him a lot of crap at times, but I truly do love him. I love his wife, his family, his father-in-law has had a relationship with Coach Cleary, who's kind of like, passed away a couple of years ago. So there's just all these ties and connections. And if I could, and if my team and program, we could bring a smile on Connor's face tomorrow. Hopefully the weather holds out. That's what I'm hoping, right? The weather, and to Lauren, and kind of make it about, Connor, but also, autism awareness. That was my focus. So not trying to get too long-winded, but it was something that I had an idea. I wanted to do it. I wanted to approach it. Then COVID, right? So, and then last year we were able to finally get it off the ground. And this year, we're hoping to make it, bigger and better every year. So that's it.
Well, thank you for that answer. We love long-winded. Don't worry about it. But you did allude to last year's game. Jay, how much of a success was last year's game? I know it was finally getting off the ground, but how much of a success was it?
Guys, I hope your podcast doesn't have a time limit, because you got two guys. You have two guys here that can go long-winded, and Shelley and I like to talk. So I do remember Shelley actually approaching me afterwards at some point and telling me that story. And I mean, he's right. Like, teachers and parents of kids with autism pick out quickly other kids. You just start to see the signs. So when he had asked me and approached and said, hey, we want to do a game for autism awareness and name it Connor's game, I was thrilled. I was honored, touched. I mean, it's just, I don't want to be the center of attention, but this is for my son. and for autism. So like I have to man up and be like, I'm going to do something. And it's not so comfortable because, you know, you're putting your business out there. But at the same point, I have to do what I have to do for my son and for autism, for all the kids with autism and the parents. I told them last year, this is not just me. It's all the people that I see all the time with the parents that deal with this every day. So if I can have a voice, we have a platform here. Shelley and I have a platform being out of college. You know, you guys have the platform of this podcast. We know a lot of people throughout the years of being at a university. And so if we can do it together and put out the announcement there, that's the main thing. So like this game last year was a huge success because it started this off. We did it in the middle of a pandemic where people were not allowed on campus. We were only allowed 2 parents per student athlete, and my family came. I had tons of family and friends asking me, mad at me that I didn't invite them. I said, I wish I could have, but you weren't allowed on campus at that time. So, you know, this year changed because we put it up on all social media and announced it. So we're going to have a lot of people. But it started the precedent of having an amazing thing. All the players last year were awesome. I mean, you know, Connor got the first goal ball from Palmieri. He ran off the field after someone scored and handed him the ball, which I thought was beautiful. And then Connor got the game-winning ball from Palmieri again, which was just amazing. You know, my son doesn't get it at this point, but I have the ball in my office and one ball in Connor's room. So when he's older, he'll see that, and you know, it'll be touching once he kind of gets the fact that he was given this. So yeah, it was a huge success, even though it was a difficult time. You know, we ordered some shirts. People all wanted shirts, so we got a couple more this year. I know we're probably gonna run out of shirts again.
We're gonna run out of shirts. It's not enough shirts.
But each year is gonna get better and better. And the main thing is, it's bringing awareness to autism, and that's my job as a parent with a kid with autism, is to make people aware, because the more education on it, the better. To know how to, you know, interact with a kid or a parent, or just don't, like Shelley, like I didn't know how to approach the subject with them. It's just the awareness and education point for the family and everybody. So it gets a little bit more comfortable and they're aware of the situations and, you know, obviously know how to interact with a child with autism.
Don't worry, there's no time limit on this podcast. So we can go for however long you guys want.
Good.
But, you know, I want to ask both you, Coach, and Jay, you know, what other things have you seen the university do throughout the years, and especially now that Dr. Repollet is such a big proponent of bringing awareness to it? What other things have you seen, or do you know that will be done to bring awareness?
I mean, I was with Dr. Repollet. He was at our Scranton game, Dr. Repollet and Dr. Youngblood the other day. And, you know, it's in line with everything that Dr. Repollet wants to kind of now promote, you know, throughout the university. I mean, I don't think there's a cause out there that that Dr. Repollet doesn't want our university to be connected to. I think one of the things that he's really passionate about with his students here is that we are out in the public eye. We are helping communities. We are helping families in need. We are helping, families and children, you know, who have, you know, autism or, you know, whatever else, is out there. He wants our students to be, you know, real world learners, you know, out there, not just in a classroom, not just saying it, right? Because we know a lot of people say it. I think Dr. Repollet's all about doing it, you know, and I think that's important to note, so he's obviously behind the cause and behind this. And I think there's a lot of initiatives out, you know, on the campus. I mean, I know we'll talk about the Cubs next week and all those things that, you know, I'm kind of involved in. I think I got maybe at times, I didn't get to bed until late last night. I get my hand in too many pies at times, but it's just kind of like what I want my program to kind of be about. but it's definitely in line with everything that, the upper administration at the university is looking for our students and our staff. I think it's important that our students and our staff get involved with all of these causes. You gotta, you could talk it, but you gotta walk it, right? Definitely gotta talk it. You gotta walk it, so when we're out there, we want to be out there, so.
Yeah. Autism awareness is near and dear to President Replette's heart. So this is something that he, sees in his personal life as a venture for him to make awareness to, right? So he's not just doing this because he's the president. This is in his heart. So he's been amazing and a true supporter of this cause. He came to last year's game. He was super happy. He was wearing a Connor shirt. We got all kinds of pictures with him. On campus, he changed all the lights to blue lights. He put a film on all the lights. This year they're going to do the same, but they're going to just make sure that the walkways are lit for safety and security reasons. But he's going to change the lights. And it started a lot of discussions of, what are these lights about? Are we changing to blue forever because we're Kean? And it started discussions. It was like, no, this is for autism awareness. And people, that's exactly, it's amazing that it just happened. That's what it's supposed to be about. Start that discussion. What does the blue lights mean? No one really knows if you're not in the autism world. He had a lecture series last year. So he brought on some people to do a discussion about autism. I think they have another one this year. And then this year they're going to do a sensory garden on campus. One of the professors whose son has autism, that was her initiative on getting this started. So it's going to be in the middle of campus, I think by the dorms. So there'll be some wind chimes. Sensory issues for kids with autism is big. They have a lot of sensory needs, and it's a sensory diet where, sometimes they need sensory input, whether it's weighted blankets, weights, sounds, music, to help their brain function a little bit better and grasp things. So those kinds of things that no one ever thinks about until you're kind of in it. So he is fully supportive of this initiative, and it's amazing to have the person from the top all the way down helping out. And as well as, listen, Kelly, our athletic director, Kelly Williams, is a huge supporter as well. He's given Shelley and I just this opportunity to make this game special. He supports all of our initiatives, but, he's thoroughly in this. He backs us. He's out there at the game. He'll be out there this weekend. We have a 5K race with Coach Todman in the morning. It's a 1 mile race and then a 5K race on kindness. So she did that as well as Shelley did the game for Connor. All the proceeds are going to Connor's school search day program, which I just think is amazing that we're going to help benefit by spreading the word, but also giving some money to a school so these kids can, whatever they need, if they need a trip, some more supplies, whatever it is, we're going to give a small portion of gratitude to them because, they don't need this. They seeing the kids smile and progress in life is all the thanks they need. But if we can just provide a little bit of thank you and supporting them with a monetary donation, it's amazing. And I'm, so grateful for both coaches and this weekend and our administration and support staff. It's great.
Yeah, my parents have been, when I brought this up to, my players' parents, my players, it was like, before I even said, hey, they were like, yes. I really want to know, just some of the parents that have kind of spread the word within our own little, lacrosse communities, like Frank Pellegrino and Teresa Francie have been awesome. Just kind of like saying, this is what we're doing. And, we're going to donate and we're going to, whatever it is, no donations too small, whatever we need. And, and I think it's, it's awesome. It's awesome when Kean people kind of support Kean people. That's what we're always looking for, right?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Our next question is for you, Coach. What do you want people to walk away from this event thinking about?
I think one of the things, and we kind of touched upon it earlier, is children with autism are they're special. Everyone is different. When I would call them, now the term is kind of like a negative term, but back in 1996, when I was talking with, teachers, 1997, when I was working at the Washington School in Paramus, we called the children snowflakes, delicate, fragile, but everyone was different. Now, if I say snowflakes, everyone thinks it's something different, but, and I just want, people to kind of walk away from this game and kind of, I know sometimes, it's hard to understand children with autism, especially if they're, sometimes nonverbal or, have certain, behaviors. So they kind of people are like, little, standoffish, and I don't want people to be standoffish, around any child, but especially a child with autism. So I just want people to kind of walk away and saying that there's, it's a disorder, but it's doesn't mean that they're not, beautiful children, and they have everything that every other child, has. And, some children could, do different things. And I just want people to kind of realize that, it's touched me. I mean, honestly, I didn't start out to be a special education teacher. It kind of just happened. And a lot of it happened, from my own personal story, being around children with autism. So I want people to kind of feel the same thing that, I feel around children. I can't walk in Jay and Lauren's shoes. I don't have a child with autism. I know it's extraordinarily challenging. I've dealt and I deal with parents, that have children. And I know there are a lot of struggles, and I want people to understand that it's, the child has struggles, but the family also has struggles, and anything we can do to support the children and the parents and the siblings and, is an important thing to kind of note, and I know, Jay alluded to some of the, the organizations out there, not just for the children, but also for the families. And I think that's important. So, I want my guys to, when they leave Kean, I want them, my guys and my, the families to know that, like, we've done our part at our time, and we're going to continue to do our part, at Kean to support, different causes. So I think that answers your question, I guess.
My last question, and we've alluded to it already several times, what are some ways that we can support both Connor School and some other organizations?
Yeah. Listen, the men's lacrosse parents started this out with donating last year, and I was super honored that they thought to do that. And so they donated to Connor School, and our school was so grateful for that donation, so that I announced it to the school and said, hey, look, we're doing even more this year. Cross country club, lacrosse team, our donation, ticket sales, are all the proceeds are going, and plus selling of the shirts. So again, I said Connor School is Search Day Program down in Ocean. So searchdayprogram.com. You can go donate there. And then Connor is also involved with Saturdays in Motion at the Somerset Hills YMCA. It's an amazing program ran by this guy, Art. His son has autism. He started this. It's a free 2-hour event for kids, for parents with children with autism, and for their siblings. It's an hour of gymnastics, an hour of swimming. Our Kean athletes have gone there and donated their time in helping volunteer, just taking on a kid, spending the hour doing gymnastics or running around, spending an hour in the pool. Almost every one of our teams have donated their time there. They're going, Saturday's Motion is going on now, but they'll pick back up in the fall. So, just check that out. It's amazing having 2 hours for your kids to run around with other kids, their peers. No one worrying about any behaviors. Is just, you feel comfortable. You feel sometimes you have to explain, I'm sorry. You have to explain yourself if you're at the regular park. Here, you don't have to explain yourself. Every parent's in the same position, so they understand exactly if the kids have a behavior or they kind of run into you or whatever the case is. So these two programs, the school and this Saturdays in Motion, two organizations close to our heart and our family. So just wanted to give them a plug. That's something that everyone can take a look at. So I appreciate you guys giving the time and opportunity to have this discussion and put our information out there, because everyone here, even the coaches that are coming out and supporting the administration, president, his staff, it's heartwarming. And I mean, I know we can all talk, but I really lost for words on how to describe, how much it means to us.
And now it's time to go beyond the competition with cross-country head coach Danielle Todman.
Hey, I've heard of her. We've had her on before, huh?
I know, right? Very familiar voice.
Full circle. Let's do it.
Joining us now is another familiar voice. We have cross-country head coach Danielle Todman. How are you, Coach?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
I'm good.
I'm great.
Cool. So we had our discussion with Jay and Coach Sheiner about Connor's game, and another really important event happening, bringing awareness to autism, is the Race on Kindness that will be occurring on campus on Saturday, April 2nd. So what was the kind of background that you decided to bring this to the university this year?
As I mentioned before, I was a paraprofessional, and I worked with a kid that had autism, and he really changed my life. So, and I know a lot of my friends have high school friends have children that have autism. So, I, as a coach, you always do things to bridge community, especially in the university. You want to bridge community, not just within the university, but in the township that the university is in. And you know that we have schools around here that specializes in helping kids with autism succeed and learn their talent in spite of a difficulty, right? So part of that was helping to, bridge community with university, with my team, the university, and union in the surrounding areas. Just to kind of not just bring awareness, but just to let people know that, we accept differences, and, we support the kids and adults that have autism, because being a paraprofessional, it showed me the challenges that kids face, right? And part of being a paraprofessional is helping them to navigate and learn their strength within that. So that was a big thing for me, was just to, as a coach, always having events that bridge community to help people understand no matter what struggles, you always have a community within a community. You know what I'm saying? So that was big for me. And learning, when Jay told me about his son, I said that was a no-brainer. That we were going to do this race because, in honor of Jay's son, and sending the proceeds to a school. So that was just, if we weren't, the original plan was do it next week, right? Next Saturday. But then when we found out about the actual game, Connor's game that was going on, I said, yeah, we should do it in the morning. So then, it allows my team to be able to support other teams that are doing the same thing. And again, it goes to the community, bridging community within the community, right? And showing the community supports autism all the way around. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thing. So that's why I brought, that was the reason why I brought the race here. And I, asked my team what they thought about it, and they've been on board. So, helping me with designing stuff and things like that, getting fundraisers and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. And we can tell this is definitely a cause that means so much to you. But would you mind telling our listeners how they can get involved with this event and what they can do to help you out?
All right, so if you go to runsignup.com, right, you'll see Race on Kindness at Kean University on the actual run sign up. If you can't come to run, there's a donate button, so you can donate dollars, or if you want to come and run, there's a 1 mile fun run walk. Either you can run or walk, or 5K, you can either run or walk, right? And all the proceeds are going to go to the day school that Jay's son goes to. So runsignup.com. You can click the donate. If you're not able to run, or if you want to walk, run, you can click one of the races and join us during that time. Or if you just want to come out and cheerlead, like just come out and support, see, what we're doing, and you just come out, have fun. That's it.
Perfect. And let everyone know the times of the runs as well. That way they know exactly what time, when and where to meet up.
So Ball Names parking lot is the meetup, and that's the registration. The first race is at 8:00. That's the mile fun run walk. And the 5K will kick off at 9:15. So you want to get there 15 minutes, 20 minutes prior to each. So this way you can get your bib number and things like that.
Absolutely. Make sure that if you're going there, you're properly hydrated, wearing proper attire.
We have water. Please make sure you hydrate a little bit, eat something a little bit.
Absolutely.
But we're going to take care of you. We got water there, door electrolytes and stuff. We're going to take care of you. Just come on down, support, come see, the community, the love outpouring that we have, and then, just be in good company, have fun, laugh, cheer the runners on, check out our sensory stations and things like that. So.
Mm-hmm. And has an event like this always been something you've wanted to do, something you've planned before in the past?
So I've always had in the back of my mind, like, when you being a new coach, right? So you always think about events to bridge community, right? And also for people on campus to partake in, because you have people that like to run 5Ks but may not like to compete, like on a cross country team or things like that, but they want to do something for a good cause, right? So in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about how to impact and impart, right? So those things have always been on my mind, but did I think that the first race was going to be like this quick? No. I thought about it, starting next year, like the next school year, doing certain 5Ks, like a run to remember for September 11th. That was the game plan. We were going to go through every quarter or every other month doing something. But autism was always a big near and dear cause to me, just because of being a paraprofessional and having near and dear friends that have kids with autism. So, and then used to being a Special Olympics coach, that has always been a near and dear event. I just didn't think that we were going to be able to like put it together so quickly, and it just flow effortlessly, how everything fell. But just seeing the amount of people signed up, the amount of people talking about it, and actually people that actually donated because they couldn't come because they're going to their kids their schools autism awareness day event. So it's been humbling to see the support. But if you ask me what I've thought about it being so soon, no, I never thought that my team and I would actually put this event together this year. It was in the back of my mind last year, like for next year. But when we were talking about it, when we were planning and we were, the team was like, we should do something. We were thinking about, as I said, doing it next week. But then when I was speaking to Jay about it, he was like, oh, we have it this day. And then, Lacrosse was doing this for my son. And I turned to the team. I said, listen, this is this is what's going on. They said, hands down, that's, something that they would do. So to actually see it unfold has been cool, and to see the team take it as if it's their own project and move it forward is even cooler.
All right, Jish, great interviews as always. You do a great job, man. But
hey, all glory to you. Come on.
oh, thank
Come
you.
on now.
Thank you. Unfortunately, the episode is coming to an end, so this is, of course, the time where we preview the week ahead. Coming up this weekend, April 2nd, baseball and softball will start off their NJAC play. Baseball will be playing against Rutgers Camden at 11:30, and that will be a doubleheader. They will continue play, of course, whenever that first game ends, but it is scheduled to start at 2:30 p.m. And softball will be playing at TCNJ in Ewing, New Jersey at 1 p.m. And they will be playing in that doubleheader as well.
Yeah, it's getting exciting. You know, now the games are starting to matter just a little bit more, playing these in-conference rivals. You know, Kean is in a very stacked division, especially for the men's side. And these games are going to start to count a little bit more for baseball and softball heading into NJAC play. Both teams are in very, very tough conferences. And winning early on is going to be crucial, especially on the road. But if you don't want to go all the way out to Camden or out to Ewing, you can stay right here in Union where you can get some good lacrosse action. This coming Saturday, April 2nd, is Connor's game. The men's lacrosse team will be playing Utica University at 1 p.m. You're not going to want to miss that, looking to end this 2-game losing streak. And then on April 6th, they will go to Patchogue, New York, to play St. Joseph's College, and both those games will be the last two before CSAC play starts up for men's lacrosse. As for women's lacrosse, they also will be playing on April 2nd, Autism Awareness Day. They will be playing DeSales University at 4 p.m., also at Alumni Stadium in Union, New Jersey. You're not going to want to miss that one as well, trying to break that 500 record in the win column. And then on Wednesday, they will be staying put at Alumni Stadium to play Drew University, also at 4 p.m. Another exciting matchup right before NJAC play for them.
Absolutely. And continuing with baseball and softball as well, baseball will be playing against Moravian University on Monday, April 4th. And on the 5th, softball will have another doubleheader, this time against Montclair State University. And wrapping up with sports coming up for this week, women's tennis has kicked back up. That's very exciting. They will be playing at home on Saturday, April 2nd versus Stockton University. And on Monday, April 4th, they will be playing another NJAC rival at Ramapo in Mahwah, New Jersey. So a lot of sports.
I'm like the chances for the tennis team this year. You know, I hear Kylie Brua, one of our volleyball players, is lighting it up for our tennis squad as well. You know, I made this joke off air, but you know, being the setter on the volleyball team, she probably knows a thing or two about sets and serves. So thank you all for tuning in. It's been such a fun episode, Dorian.
Absolutely, Jish. I always have a great time doing these episodes, and this one in particular has been one that's really special. Like we said, you guys can listen to these interviews on YouTube at Kean Athletics, or you can look us up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at Cougar Culture Podcast. We'll see you all next time.